come accordingly. I just wanted to understand that are you all able to hear whatever I'm trying to speak to you? Am I audible to you? Just let me know if I'm audible to you or not. Okay. So I am back and I just wanted to check that you are able to see me or not. Now, these are the adverbs come after the direct object or after the verb if there isn't any direct object. For example, there is suppose we do not have any direct object. For example, he completed the task efficiently. So, what was the manner of completion? The manner of completion was efficiently. So, how was the task completed? It was completed efficiently in the manner it was done. So, direct after the task, you have got the adverb here efficiently. Okay, that's a direct placement of adverb just after the adverb, verb, just after the verb. I'm sorry, just after the verb. Now, he completed the task. You have written there efficiently. Now, he wrote the exam carelessly. Now, the adverb of manner carelessly comes after the direct object, the exam. She sang melodiously. Again, it is coming directly after the object. So, a direct object is a noun or a pronoun that receives the action. Now, she is running swiftly. We're talking about an action for whom? We are talking an action about a noun or a pronoun. Here it is she, or I could write a name like Veena. So that's what it is. It comes after the, we are actually the receiver. Who's the receiver here? It's the noun. Okay, so accordingly, you are going to place adverbs with the verb form just direct after the verb. An indirect object is really a prepositional phrase in which the preposition to or for is not stated but understood. It tells to whom or for whom something is done. Now, preposition, she is sitting on the table. That we use that preposition on. So that we're talking here on. On the table is going to be the phrase. Why it is a prepositional phrase? Because the header is on and this on word is a preposition. So I hope you understood what is a preposition. Now we're talking here about indirect objects. That means when we are not directly stating about the noun or a pronoun, if something is being shown in an indirect manner, is an indirect manner is really a prepositional phrase in which the preposition is for is not stated but it is something which is understood. This we can understand it with the help of a slide, like form of a sentence. It says painted the beautifully she was. So we can say she painted the wall beautifully. Now, what does it come? Very good. So that's something, she painted the wall. How did she paint the wall? She painted the wall beautifully. So directly, it's not an we are talking here about. The work is done by she, but we are actually talking about the wall. How was the wall done? It was done beautifully. In the same form, we have to check this part, which says with the problem methodological, she very methodical methodical. Okay, so she with the problem, I can say dealt methodically, very methodically. No, we are not going to use this word with very or it is right. What is it? Let's check the answer. No, the problem is very word was not required, it was dealt methodically. Okay, next is form of the sentence. Again, you have to form a sentence here. The party very much enjoyed. So if I say everybody enjoyed the party very much. Perfect. I hope you are getting what we are doing in the class. Are you people, are you joined with me? Everybody is able to understand what we are talking to you here about? Hello? Are you all live with me? Thank you. We'll go to the next and understand what this says. Okay? We'll go to the next and understand what this says. It talks about one of another adverb that we have that we are talking here about. Okay? So it talks about this form of it. It says adverbs of place. Now, place is an area that we're talking about. The place, area. Okay. It says adverbs of place tell us where something is done. You do someplace, like adverbs here, there, behind, above. When you read these words tell you we are talking about some placement. We're talking about some place basically. So adverb of place are like adverbs of manner. There's something similar to it. They also come after the direct object. So first we need to understand that which are those words that are dealing with adverbs of place. Now these are words which are here and there. Here and there is actually telling you that they are trying to focus by these words we try to get to understand their placement as to which place it is placed. Okay, here and there, behind is also a place, above again it's a place. So all these words are actually used for place, area that we're talking here about. Same manner we are going to use it just after the verb. We are going to use it, it's a direct object, and we can also use it in an indirect object. I will meet him there, I will meet him here. So that's a place we're talking. Instead of there or here, you can just take away and write down the name of the place also. That's why these words play an important role here. So I will meet him there, the adverbs of place there comes after the direct object. When I say the priest sat here, here is coming after the verb sat. Now see this verb, I will meet him there. So the adverb of place there comes after the direct object him. I will meet him. So the object here was him. So just after the object you are getting adverb. Second one you will see that just after the verb you get the adverb. So you have to remember that sometimes it is directly that you are referring to the noun or a pronoun, or sometimes you are through the object you are referring the adverb. Next comes here adverbs of time. Adverbs of time tell us when or what time something is done. Adverbs of time are usually placed at the end of the sentence. They can also be used at the beginning of the sentence followed by comma. So we are talking here about adverbs of time. Okay. So what is happening adverbs of time here? Adverbs of time is basically which is trying to help us out to understand as to when and what something is done. When and what. So we are here talking about two questions, when and what. So two questions are getting solved, or we are answering to these questions of time when we're talking about when and what. So it says that recently this was done, now it was done, then it was done, today it was done, tonight it will be done, tomorrow it will be done, yesterday we did it. So I will show you the dress tomorrow. So I will show you the dress. So we are just coming after the object you word there, that you are talking here about the dress, the time as to when you are going to show it. Okay. Let's see the slide, the next adverb. Next adverb is adverbs of frequency. Adverbs of frequency is also used as the other adverbs that we're talking about, manner and time and place. Frequency is basically duration. Anything, how long, how much time is it taking for you to uh, how much time is it taking for you to what we say, anything getting completion, or you are going to do a task, how much time does it take? For example, and frequency are always, never, seldom, usually, occasionally, frequently. Adverbs of frequency come before the main verb except the main verb to be. For example, I'll go again and would like to discuss this. When we're talking about frequency, frequency is something which is happening how much time. We are always on time. She is never on time. She is seldom on time. She is usually late. She is occasionally late. She is frequently late. See, whenever I'm using these words, you will come to know, you will see a graph going up and down. So that's a frequency actually which helps you out. So you have got the adverbs of frequency come before the main verb except the main verb to be. Occasionally visit my uncle. We have often seen him pass by alley. They are seldom at church. So that means they are sometimes at church, or we. So here we see I, we, and they. They're supposed to be my subject. And accordingly, I see occasionally visit. Visit is supposed to be my verb. My becomes my object. So I occasionally visit my uncle. So where are we using this? Check this. Adverbs of frequency come before the main verb. This is a little change in frequency. For time and manner, what we discussed, there is a little change in this section. Okay. So in this section, we have to use it just after the main verb, which we are talking here about, except the main verb to be. To be means that is, am, when we're talking about all these verbs, except that phrase. Now, directly, I can say, I occasionally visit my uncle. If I have to say, I am occasionally visiting my uncle, that way we are going to talk about, except. We have often seen him pass by alley. Most of the times we have seen him, often we have seen him with LA. That's what they are actually talking here about. So I hope we are paying some attention in the class, what is happening. We are here talking about your different kinds of adverbs coming in different places. Different places means here we are talking about placement of it, that how we have to use it. So accordingly pay attention when we are talking here about placement of it. Okay, accordingly use it. Frequency, manner, place and time, it really makes a lot of a difference when we are talking to you in such a manner. Okay, so this is something, one part that we are here talking to you, and the other part that we are continuing with what we are teaching you is the next part that we have to talk about is the frequency that we have understood. Okay, so the frequency part is talking to you. Uh, just a second, the slide is again moved. Okay, so here we are talking about adverbs of frequency we were dealing to you. Okay, so here we have sometimes they visit him and I miss him occasionally. Rarely and seldom can also go at the end of a sentence. Often very well. We see them rarely. She eats fish very seldom. So here again we see that rarely and seldom can, hello, rarely and seldom can also go at the end of a sentence. They can also can be used at the end of a sentence. She eats fish very seldom. Again, you can see you are using these words rarely and seldom are often, we normally see that they are being used after the word very.
Can you hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Just a second.
Please give me a second. We were talking here about adverbs of frequency. So whenever we are dealing with adverbs of frequency, very important thing for us to understand are few little points. Points here are that when we're talking about frequency, it's actually, as I said, the graph. How much time, how much practice, how much duration, how much time did it take to complete something, or in what way it was done. For examples, these are all the words that we can use: always, never. We do seldom, sometimes, that means usually, occasionally, and frequently. They are seldom at the church. They are okay. When we're talking about frequency, how many times they're going to church, basically this is what you're saying. So occasionally and sometimes, often, frequently, and usually can also go at the beginning or at the end of the sentence. What were we dealing here with the other part when we were talking? We were saying that adverbs of time and adverbs of place and adverbs of manner. When we were talking about this, most importantly, thing that we have seen, that we are going the placement. So when I said she is running swiftly, so what is the most important thing I should know? I should know that we are talking about noun or a pronoun. Basically, it's a subject. So when we talk about a subject, you need to have an object. Everything moves behind besides this. So when we're talking about adverbs, adverbs of manner and time and place will be just after the object. Okay, just after the object. But when we are dealing with adverbs of frequency, it will be just after the subject. That's the change, which is a very important part. When we're talking about adverbs of frequency, it has to be just after the subject. I am running swiftly. Okay, so running, after the object, you have got the adverb. But here, what is happening? Sometimes they visit him. Oh, I'll take this. I occasionally visit my uncle. What has happened? I just after I you get the frequency. Occasionally. We have often seen him. So we're talking just after to be where has or have helping verb. We put the helping verb and then we have got the frequency written there. Third sentence. They are seldom. So we have got plural form, they, and then we have got are there, which is a helping verb, and then immediately then we've got a frequency written there. So that's a little change when we talk about usage of adverbs, right? Of frequency. Otherwise, time, place, and manner will always be after the object. I hope it is clear to you, usage of adverbs. Some part of it. So occasionally, sometimes, often, frequently. So this is something which can be used in the beginning or in the end. So we're specifically talking about these words. Specifically talking about occasionally, sometimes, often, frequently, and usually. These 5 words, keep it in your diary, keep it mentioned it ready with you. So sometimes I visit him, I miss him occasionally. See, occasionally I miss him. Sometimes they visit me. They visit him sometimes. So both ways we can use it. So 5 words, keep it with you. Occasionally, sometimes, often, and frequently. Okay, going to the next. Rarely and seldomly can also go at the end of the sentence. We can see that it can also go at the end of the sentence. Like, we see them rarely. She eats fish very seldom. So we can use rarely and seldom after the sentence. But we do not use adverbs of definite frequency. Definite means where you are a sure time. I am going to meet him tomorrow. We do the work daily or we are doing the work weekly. That's something definite, that's something specific. So when we're talking about adverbs which are specific, which are of definite frequency, they are used at the beginning of the sentence. They are definitely we do not use them at the starting of the sentence. Like we are shifting here that you can keep the adverbs in the starting or in the end. But when we are talking about definite time, definite frequency, not time, frequency, that you cannot use in starting of a sentence. It has to come after the object part of it. Let's see. When I say monthly, I get paid. It's wrong English. You have to write I get paid monthly. So monthly adverb of manner will come in the last. In the last of the sentence. After the object, you have to place it. Fine. So keep in mind when you're talking about adverbs of definite frequency, it has to come after in the last. It has to come at the end of the sentence. But when we are talking about words like occasionally, sometimes, often, frequently, and usually, you can use it in front, in the starting of a sentence, or you can use it in the end of the sentence. Let's pause and see how correct you are. Let's see. Do they play every weekend soccer? Can somebody please try this for me? Do they play every weekend soccer? Every weekend, do they play soccer? Is it right? Let's check. What is the answer are we getting here? Wrong. Why? What is the correct answer here? Okay, there is only one person who's giving the answer. Do they play soccer every day? So here, do is what? It's a question here. Okay, so we are talking about definite time. You cannot place every in front. It has to come, Mias, it has to come in the end. I intentionally made a mistake because normally we are in a habit of saying such sentences. You will not say this sentence in such manner. Always remember, when it is a definite frequency you are trying to talk about, it has to come in the end, not in first of the starting of the sentence. Okay. Niyas, can you try? He did not in the best, in the test, perform good, perform well, perform welly. He did not perform good in the test. Am I right? He did not perform good in the test. Is this the right answer? Right answer is perform well. Yes. He did not perform well. We do not use the word good. We have to use the word well because we are talking about frequency. Well tells us about the frequent part of it. Okay, so accordingly you are going to use it. Fine. I hope you have understood. Niyaz, are you with me? Let's try this sentence. Next. Let's try the next sentence. I have never, have always been to USA. I have usually. What do you want me to do? I have never. I have never. Okay. I have always been to USA. I have usually. I have never, never been to USA. Okay. So we did do something good here. Okay. There is something that we have done good here. There is one echo. There is an echo happening here. Okay, next sentence. They dash to music in the evening. They listen usually? No, they usually listen. That's what it is. So adverbs of frequency come before the main verb. Which is the main verb here? Main verb is listen. It has to come before. Frequency has to come before. Okay. Go to the next. I dash such a beautiful bunch of flowers. I have never seen such beautiful bunch of flowers. Okay. Pooja, you have joined me right now? Okay. Okay, go to the next. We dash the food. She is not a great cook. She didn't really like it. We didn't really like the food. She is not a great cook. In friendly a friendly way she spoke. In a friendly way she spoke. Are we correct? Let's check the answer. She spoke in a friendly way. We have to write this. The right one is she spoke in a friendly way. Yes. We were just picking up the right thing. Let's go to the next. Australia always, usually, Australia just once and never. I have been, I have been to Australia. I have been to Australia just once. Correct. See, we gave the right answer there. Let's go to the next. I bought an interesting book 2 weeks ago. That's a past form coming in the last and telling when did I get the book. I usually arrive late or lately. Usually arrive late. My friends are mostly, very mostly. ly. There is one more tip for adverbs. They are having lys with them. Okay. Next, most of the words. Dash her train is late. Perhaps. Option wise we are taking here are that seemed happy or happily. Ly. No. We do not use other adverbials of manner after link verbs. Verbs that show a state of being and not really talk about an action. We use adjectives instead. So instead of adverb, you have to use adjectives. That seemed happy, but it works as an adverb. It was late, but they hadn't arrived yet. Okay, going to the next. Let's see. Have you finished that? Dash. It's 400 pages wrong already. He could dash be lying. He could possibly be lying. I am certain about this. Certainly, no. Certain adjective we are using here. Certain about this. She is the right person certainly for this job. She is certainly the right person. Can we take this? Yes. So we are talking about person who is right person. Pick the just I have seen Susan coming out of cinema. I have just seen Susan coming out of cinema. Let's see what it says. Correct answer there. If you dash say that again, I will expel you. If you ever say that again, I will expel you. Ever means at any point of time. I pay my rent once a month. Once a month. I once a month pay my rent. Okay. Once a month because they watch television hardly ever. They hardly ever watch the television. Correct answer. These days I eat desserts rarely. These days I eat desserts very rarely. I will take this. Why? If we put often, rarely, and seldom in N, we use a modifier very important when we are using often, rarely, or seldom. Often, rarely, or seldom. You have to use the modifier extremely. Very good there. Dash the boss gives me a hard time every day or daily. We have to use this every day the boss is giving me a hard time. So let's go back and revise what we did today in the class. It's very important because little confusing adverbs of frequency we have, and then we were having adverbs of, let's check. We have got 4 types of adverbs. Adverb of manner is the first. So adverb of manner tells us how something is done. Examples, adverbs of manner are nicely, slowly, beautifully, carefully, meticulously. That means in what manner. So these are the words that should be in your dictionary. It should be with you. In what manners, if the subject is doing the work, the subject will be plural or singular. So is he doing nicely, slowly, beautifully, carefully, meticulously, or awfully? These adverbs come after the direct object or after the verb if there isn't any direct object. He completed the task efficiently. So the adverb of manner efficiently comes after the direct object, the task. He wrote the exam carelessly. So the adverb of manner carelessly comes after the direct object, the exam. She sang melodiously. So the adverb of manner melodiously comes after the verb sang. What is the most important thing that we have to check here is that the direct object is a noun or a pronoun. Direct object. What is direct object? There is a subject and then we have got a We are referring, the subject is referring to some object. Now, if there is a direct object which is a noun or a pronoun that receives the action of a verb in a sentence, that's something which you should know. An indirect object is really a prepositional phrase in which the prepositional phrase, as I said, what is a phrase? Phrase is something which doesn't have a head or a tail, but it starts with prepositions with one or two words added to it. Okay, in which the preposition to or for is not stated but understood. It tells to whom or for whom something is done. We did the sentences. If you want, we can do it again. She painted the wall beautifully. Okay, next you can do it. The problem methodological, she very dealt. So she dealt with the problem method. Which one will we take? Very methodically. See, correct answer there. Let's try this. The party very much enjoyed many this. So very much. Many. No. How will we start? Everybody enjoyed the party very much. Very good. Buksamani, great. Thank you for trying that. Adverbs of place. Adverbs of place tells us where something is done. So it is done here, it is done there, it is done behind, it is done above. Okay, so adverbs of place are like adverbs of manners, something like that. Something coming with, they also come after the direct object or the verb if there is no object. I will meet him there. So the adverb of place is there, which comes after the direct object him. The priest sat here. The adverbs of place here comes after the verb sat. So what is this adverb of time? Adverbs of time tells us when, at what time something is done. Time, we don't know what time is, okay? So adverbs of time are usually placed at the end of a sentence. They can also be used at the beginning of a sentence followed by commas. Now, for example, recently, now, then. So if you are using these words in starting, in the start of the sentence, put a comma. But most of the times we see that we can also use it in the end. But the only thing for placing it without a grammatical error is that you need to put a comma. I will show you the dress tomorrow. Now, the same sentence can be said tomorrow. I'll show you the dress. So because it requires a pause. Tomorrow, the moment you speak, see, you will get a pause there. So if I have to show a pause, I need to put a comma there. Okay. So now next is adverbs of frequency. When we are dealing with adverbs of frequency, examples of adverbs of frequency is how much did you do the work. I did the work always, never, seldom, usually, occasionally, or frequently. That's something that what it depends on. So I always listen to my students and never listen to my students. I seldom. So that's a frequency, the graph accordingly going on. Adverbs of frequency come before the main verb, except the main verb to be. Main verb to be. So most of the frequency of adverbs are going to come before the main verb. Before the main verb. Now you can have helping verb and main verb. I had discussed it initially when we started with the class. So that is something which you need to identify and practice. That's the best way to deal with it. So this is occasionally, sometimes, often, frequently, or usually can also go in the beginning or in the end of the sentence. Sometimes they visit him, I miss him occasionally. Sometimes they visit him. See, sometimes it's coming in starting of the sentence, and see, occasionally is coming in the end. So you can use it. There is no problem. The only difference is that the moment you use sometimes, that means adverbs of frequency, put a comma there in the starting of the sentence if you're using it. But when you're using the word rarely and seldom, don't forget to use the word very. Okay, and a very important thing is that when you are talking about definite time period, you never place it in the starting of the sentence. It always comes in the end. Like I get paid monthly. You cannot say monthly I get paid. This is something which we had tested it every week and do they play. Niyaz, thank you for paying attention in the class. Okay, these are all the different kinds of sentences we had done. They usually listen. I have never seen such beautiful bunch of flowers. We didn't really like the food. She is not a great cook. She spoke in a friendly way. That's the correct way to write. I have been to Australia just once. I bought an interesting book 2 weeks ago. You will never say the word before. Ago is the past form of the time, which is over. She usually arrives late. My friends are mostly non-smokers. Dasher, perhaps a train is late. That seemed Nikhil great. That seemed happy. Here, why did we lose? Why did we skip? Why is happily incorrect? Because at places sometimes you have to drop adverb and put an adjective to explain. But there, that adjective works as an adverb because we are talking and enhancing about seen, which is a main verb there. It was late, but they hadn't, Nikhil. Okay. It was late, but they hadn't arrived yet. Have you finished that book already? All this has been done. Nikhil, you have joined a little late, I think, or might be because of some technical reasons. I must have not be able to respond to you at that point of time when the lights are off. So he could possibly be lying. I am certain about this. She is certainly the right person for the job. I have just seen Susan coming out of the cinema. If you ever say that again, I will expel you. I pay my rent once more. They hardly ever watch the television. These days, I eat desserts very rarely. Every day, the boss gives me a hard time. So that's all for today's class. Thank you, all of you, for joining. I really appreciate you people joining with me. Thank you so much. I'll join you back again on Friday. Join us for Hello English class. I will solve and resolve your technical issues, whatever possible. But we try really hard to come up with best whatever is possible. Thank you so much for joining. Join me again. This is Veena signing off from Hello English. Bye bye.